Welcome to the land of 1,000 hills, and thank you for joining us here in Kigali, Rwanda, the heart of Africa and the capital of African basketball. Well, it's finals time here in Season 2 of the Basketball Africa League as US Monastir take on Petro de Luanda. 2 conferences have been completed. In Dakar and Cairo, 37 games have been played. Now the last 2 teams are standing and ready to enter a game that will decide who will be crowned African champions. The Titans of Tunisia, the Giants of North Africa, who lost in last year's final right here in Kigali, gaining revenge over Egypt's legacy makers Zamalek. The semi-finals in a turbulent showdown on Wednesday. And Petro de Luanda, the colossal West Coast Giants of Southern Africa, representing Angola. Finished 3rd in last season's league. This is the BAL final of Season 2, and we're buzzing as we count down to tip-off. It really is going to be something special. There are 3 parts in a trilogy, and this story has yet to be told. So we need raconteurs, storytellers, to guide us to the very end. And one of them is a South African former national team basketball player with lots of experience as a player and as a commentator, Quentin de Nason. He's right here next to me. Q, a big night for African basketball. Are you ready for turbulence?
We're set, ready for takeoff, and I think you strap in because it's going to be turbulent, and there can only be one. This is what it's all about. 37 games down, you mentioned it, and I'm looking forward to what should be a showcase and one of the best games we've seen in African basketball competition.
So exciting. Our 3rd storyteller is one of Africa's leading journalists who well, tells a tale, I can tell you. Her name, of course, and I'll say Murakaza Neza Asha Kumakisha. How are you? Well, she's not here for the moment. We'll catch up with her in a minute. Of course, we've got the drummers here, so let's really enjoy what's happening with this performance here. And then we'll get back to you in a moment. That's the trophy that everybody wants to get their hands on. US Monastir, Petro de Luanda. Usher's joining us right now. Usher, how about this spectacle?
This is absolutely beautiful. It is Rwanda, and the celebration of tradition is always very key in everything that is done in this country, and this is just a good example.
Thank you so much. This group, they're called the Imbakanizi. So as a soloist dancer, drummers, and the Rwanda National Ballet. This is absolutely extraordinary, isn't it? We love the traditions. Rwanda, heart of Africa, with the heart beating in such a strong way that, well, it's going to turn this into quite an enjoyable evening, I can promise you that.
Basketball is a celebration of lifestyle and culture, and we are allowed to take all of this wonderful celebration, and this is ultimately a celebration. We're at the end of the journey, and the game is about to go, but before that, what we do is this lovely ceremony.
Yeah, let's take a moment and enjoy.
for the Rwanda National Ballet, Uruchereza, and welcome to the Basketball Africa League Season 2 Finals. Tonight, we will crown a new BAL champion. Who will it be? The matchup features Angola's Petro de Luanda versus Tunisia's US Monastir.
Path towards what should be a really quite extraordinary evening here in Kigali. That is the trophy that everybody wants to win. And of course, well, of course, now it's time to introduce the key players, the players who will be coming out onto the main stage to perform, to create what should be a firework night of activity. There's going to be so much great basketball on show here, wherever you're watching around the world, as we see that man, Leani, incredible player, Slimane, 41 years of age. This team of Monastir, they went into the final last year. They lost to Zamalek. They're coming back for more. Atem Majok, of course, originally from South Sudan, representing Lebanon now. Some giants, Q, there really are.
This is the stage they've worked hard to get to. Julius Coles Jr. coming in, he had a fantastic outing in the semifinal, going for 19 points, improving the value in his signing. But it's got to be about all 12 players who are going to be a part of this, or rather all 13 players who are part of this US Monastir lineup. And they are certainly one of the storylines for this final. And Tunisian giants are set for battle.
Well, just Petro de Luanda, they've got the 2022 BAL Best Coach of the season, of course, with that man, Jose Neto of Brazil, who has orchestrated what has been a climb to the summit. They're at the top of the mountain in the land of 1,000 hills. Can they go right to the very top and jump off and say, we are champions of Africa? Well, they're here, Q. They finished third place last year, just losing out to Zamalek by 2 points in their semi-final battle. But they're here now, and they take on US Monastir.
Representing a proud, historic club, a club with a winning history, representing Southern African basketball. And it is definitely going to be the veteran leadership on the team. They've got great leadership on the bench. You spoke about Coach Jose Neto winning that wonderful award, the BAL Coach of the Season in 2022. But some feel that Carlos Moraes, Leonel Paulo, and Olympia Cipriano, this could be a swan song, and they out here to try and prove that age is nothing but a number as well.
This is the US Monastir team. Of course, you've got Dixon, you've got Julius Coles Jr., Atem Majok, Firas Leani, and Radwan Slimane. They haven't changed. He hasn't changed that much, Miodrag Perisic. He knows what kind of a team he's got. He knows that he can rely on players off the bench. This is a strong team with a lot of depth.
They have great depth. They've got great experience. Radwan Slimane playing arguably one of his best seasons so far. But when you look at Petro de Luanda, it's Tindao, Moraes, Gonçalves, Kaku, and Jone Pedro. Also a lineup that Jose Neto doesn't mess with too much. We've seen Moreira come into the starting position and Pedro come out. Pedro picking up the start in the semi-finals and did well enough to earn the start here in the final.
Yeah, we just saw the two flags just behind the last two flags who are locking horns here in Kigali. Jose Neto, Petro de Luanda, a Brazilian who was the coach of Petro last season. They made it into third place on the podium, of course. He wants to go a step further this time and go all the way. Miodrag Perisic, his second stint as coach of US Monastir. He knows this Tunisian team, lots of experience, and also there's a lot of teams who would like to get him as their main man at, right across Africa.
I have no doubt that the offer sheet is coming in thick and fast, but he really loves coaching this US Monastir team. And you heard and you saw, Robbie, the disappointment in the last year, and Atem Majok in tears. You've seen the articles about him and the team talking about earning every inch towards victory. They've taken the last step. They're here at the platform, and it's got to work for them.
Listen, we're having a fantastic time because we have quality players on court, and we've got legends who are off it watching this. It's a big deal, I can tell you that.
All right, it's pomp and ceremony. It's about the fans in the house. We've got a packed arena here in the BK Arena in Kigali, and it is going to be a showcase of African basketball. It should be a tightly contested one throughout. There's very little to choose between the two teams. Basketball royalty across NBA legends, Joakim Noah, Dikembe Mutombo, they've been around the entire week, and they are just as excited as we are.
And gentlemen, I'm just going to quickly bring in the officials. Hortensia Sanchez Carizales from Mexico. She's the crew chief, and she'll be together with Wael Ibrahim Mustafa from Egypt and Marie Leslie Cherubin from Mauritius.
Thank you so much, Usher. Key parts in this machine that's moving tonight, of course, and they've done a sterling job already. And there's Baba, the mascot, of course. Baba representing the baobab, of course, a wonderful tree that offers a lot of life and longevity. It really is, I'd say a continental symbol rather than just a national symbol.
It has to be a continental symbol, and what he does is a little different, is that Baba is able to throw the ball down and get on the court and showcase some of his skill set, which is kind of unique.
Big time. And look at the fans here. We've got fans. We've even got some Senegalese fans, of course, who are here. We remember those from Dakar, from the Sahara Conference. Oh, we do indeed, making a lot of noise. It's a fantastic festival of joy, sport, and it will be emotional. It'll be an emotional roller coaster. But first of all, this is to be crowned Kings of Africa. Tunisian giants, US Monastir, Angolan giants in Petro de Luanda. Who's it going to be?
The matchups are all set. You've got the smallest player, or the shortest player in the BAL, but plays with the large side. Childe Dundao has been outstanding for Petro de Luanda on the floor, providing both defense and as well as some really great offensive output. Kaku, Gonsalves, and now we are underway.
Well, Johnny Pedro just getting the touch there, but it's straight into the hands of Julius Colts Jr., one of the acquisitions for US Monastir, who's come on strong. He's improving game after game. Slimane off the boards with his first score of the game, and the first points on the board for the 41-year-old Tunisian.
He has been a standout on this US Monastir team, and they've lent on those broad shoulders, and he fittingly gets the first score.
There's Johnny Pedro. He's also very dangerous in the paint, as we've seen throughout the campaign, not just in Cairo, but also here. Of course, Leani loves to drive, but he doesn't manage to sink the points. Ball back out to Dundao. Dundao tries to get rid of Dixon. Dixon makes a block. Nicely done. Gonsalves gets rid of Dixon. And he goes up, just a very soft touch. The silky velvet hands, and a beautiful score to get rid of that zero.
Surprisingly, no contest on the shot from Majok, who's just looked paralyzed, and Gonsalves made the bucket count.
Slimane outside, big long-range three-pointer just off the front rim. Salvis gets the ball out. It's into the hands of Moraes. Oh, it's a beautiful three-pointer. Something that we'll see. We might see a lot of that tonight from that man there.
Loves the big stage, loves the big occasion. Carlos Moraes opens up from the perimeter for his first connection from downtown.
A lot of communication from the coaches, especially Neto. Oh, it's a beautiful response from Dixon. Triple from down in the corner.
Talking about loving the big stage, Dixon doesn't shy away from big shots and has the knack of making them too.
Gaku. Here's Gonsalves. Goes for a three-point shot himself. Oh, it's all happening tonight.
Red hot start for Petro from the outside. Gonsalves locked in.
Coles Jr. spent some time playing in Qatar before he arrived. Goes for a three-pointer this time. It's not one that falls. That's rare. Dundao. Johnny Pedro. Gonçalves. Gonçalves. Into the arc, picked up by João Pedro. So trying to find a little bit of space and turns, but Slimane defending well.
Went to the left hand on the baseline and just slithered off the rim.
Here is Dixon. Dixon under a little bit of pressure. Layani out wide to Slimane, down into the corner. Cole Jr. with a shot that just comes off the metal, picked up by Gaku. Quick, fast break, and Dundao, electric pace, goes for a long-range shot himself. It just rattles but doesn't drop, and it's been defended there by US Monastir.
Looking for the quick pickup in transition. Again, just rattles out on that attempt from Dundao.
Big battle here, Majok, João Pedro, and they shut out the light on that occasion. And the foul has been called.
Tries to go over two defenders, Majok, in the paint. High pressure on him, not trying to give him too much space and time. They do pick up the first team foul as well. Gaku gets whistled for it.
Patience and good control, of course, of the ball from Ante Majok.
Just a look at the read from Gonçalves, just around the screen at the top of the key. Can knock down that three.
Ante Majok. Majok from South Sudan originally. Spent time playing in China, which is this final. The BAL has been broadcast in China, so obviously they'll recognize him. Ball coming out, Dundao, blind pass out wide. It's Gaku with the shot. He'll try and pick that back up in the corner, and a little bit of pressure and treading over the line, so they'll get possession back, US Monastir.
They put up the most threes in the Basketball Africa League. They average the most three-point attempts. They will continue to search for options on the outside first. They tend to play outside in. Just going off the boil a little bit from the perimeter.
Dixon. It's the ball to Majok. Majok up against Pedro again. Majok with a masterclass in dunking the ball.
Statement dunk by Ater Majok. Muscles his way inside the paint, throws down with the left hand.
Moraes on the outside, ducking and diving, finally goes for a big three shot. Pointer three shot in the basket. Bring it on.
That's the perfect reply from the three-point line after that monster Majok jam. And this is high-quality stuff right here.
And that's exactly what we thought would happen. We know that Zamalek were itching to get themselves back-to-back titles here in the BAL, but, well, they got knocked out by US Monastir. There's a reason why they're here, and that's one of the reasons, just looking at that fantastic play there from the Tunisian Giants.
Just a little bit of a break in play as I think there was contact called off the ball when Moraes made the shot.
Yes, there was, and the foul was called on Layani.
On Layani, okay, thank you, Asha.
Foul on Pedro. Coming back.
You know, there's a lot of pressure on these players, of course, and there's going to be some off-the-ball antics that are going to be taking place. The shenanigans, if you like, and you know, it's going to happen here. It's a final. There's a lot of pressure.
So much pride at stake, but BAL champions will be crowned in just over 35 minutes.
New champions of Africa. And Dundao, it's Majok. Illegal block, I think.
Calling the contact on the screen.
Just look at that, he just backs into Gonçalves, doesn't he? And that's where the infringement was picked up. Then you can see, obviously, Miodrag Perisic quite verbal and active on the side of the court.
We're just tightening up the calls now, and it looks like, again, they're indexing on the contact around the screens, and another quick foul. That time, I think it is Gonçalves who picks up the foul.
Yeah. I think it's João Pedro who actually gets the foul there.
Pedro, correct. Second team foul. First one for Pedro.
Sliman into the hands of Majok. Majok looks for options, joining Pedro. Check. I mean, he's kind of suffocating him, and they get the ball back. It's successful on that occasion.
3-second call.
Yeah, just holding him back, you know, making him hesitate. Finally, the ball comes back out. Spent too much time down there.
Looking to go to work again, and they're trying to ISO Majok on Pedro, especially after that first statement done. Going to keep going back to him. And it's the conversation between Jose Neto and Gaku. We might see a change in matchup a little bit in the paint.
And that's indeed Yannick Moreira has been introduced to the game to sort of help with Ater Majok.
If you can deal with Majok, it's not that easy, is it, Asha?
No, it's not.
I mean, he's just brought his A game in the paint, you know, since the Tunisian team have arrived in Kigali, because he's been defended so tightly.
He has been defended tightly, but it's opened up the game for other players on this Monastir team, and that's why we've seen Coles Jr., Dixon, as well as Sliman playing really well. They have so much depth, and they move the ball, and they'll find areas to score and where they can maximize on offense.
So true. 11-8. Petro de Luanda, 3-point lead. 5:14 left in the first quarter. Carlos Moraes, 6 points, 2 from the
lane violation.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of Angolan fans here. They're absolutely loving it, of course, and we've got a big group of supporters here in the BK Arena, newly named just last week.
And talking about Angola, where basketball is the #1 sport, they are the 11-time African record champions with the national team. So this means a lot to see Petro de Luanda playing in the final here at the BAL.
And the interesting fact is, Asher, is that Tunisia are the reigning Afro-basket champions from Kigali here last year, as we know well.
Absolutely, and that's why when you see Sliman playing in the final, he has a serious face. It's focused for him.
He's got the game face, isn't he? You know? If he smiles at you, it's very rare. He probably smiles at you, Asher, I'm sure, you know.
Absolutely.
But, you know, Sliman, there you go, 2 points on the scoreboard there. But what a wonderful player. Sliman is so active. He really runs around and dances around like someone who's 20 years younger. Quite extraordinary.
He has been an absolute standout, and without his presence on the team, I'm not sure we'd see US Monastir playing at the same level. And he is, for his age, playing so many deep minutes and doing such a fantastic job.
Dixon just keeping the ball in with that long pass, and it's a good shot from Dixon. Coming in with a triple.
Even with all that pressure, Dixon's still able to knock down the contested shot on the baseline.
Yeah, they're all level at 12 points apiece. And they've given the ball away once again. A little bit frustrating this is for Petro de Luanda, and it's obviously going to trigger and instigate a timeout, which is the case. So we'll take a small break. We're all level here for the final of Season 2 of the BAL. It's Petro de Luanda 12, US Monastir 12. Finals time here at the BK Arena in Kigali, Rwanda. Petro de Luanda and US Monastir playing the roller coaster ride. I'll take the lead. No, I'm going to match up. You're not going to get ahead. No, you're not. I'm going to reel you back in. That's the story so far. A very interesting battle between two giants of Africa, the two top teams. Over to Asha, who I know was listening in to Coach Perisic of US Monastir.
Well, Coach Perisic is just not happy with the way that US Monastir have started this game. He needs them to swing that ball until they get an open shot and just to stay focused in this game.
Gonçalves forcing US Monastir to lose possession, frustrating for them. Focus is important, and US Monastir working really hard. They want this more than anything in the world, Q.
I think both teams want this more than anything in the world, and that's what makes it so fascinating, is very little to choose between these two teams, and they have former African champions on display, guys who have been to the big stage before in continental competition, and this will mean so much to both of these clubs and franchises.
Gonçalves goes up for the three-pointer. It's a little flick there by Johnny Pedro to get the ball into the hands of Moreira. Moreira against Majok, tries to find his way, but it's goaltending, it looks like, and they get the points.
Lovely, patient move by Moreira. Uses the shoulder, turns around on the left, and then goes with the left hand. Majok was a bit late on it. Credit the two.
Dixon, ball in hand, up against Dundao. Leani tries to weave between the defense. Slimane patiently, and then accelerates. Ball comes out, Leani for a big shot, but it comes off the metal. Dundao has it now. Out for the acceleration. He got rid of his man, Gonçalves. The ball goes out of play. Leani's claiming that it's going to be US Monastir who get possession, and it is the case.
Trying to be a little bit too clever, Gonçalves. And another look at that beautiful move by Moreira. In fact, went with the right hand, and on the way down, Majok interfering with the flight path of the ball.
Coles Jr., Dixon's been shooting some big triples over the past week. The foul has been committed there by Gonçalves. We go straight to the free throw line.
We got to see just how good Dixon is under pressure in the quarter and the semis, and Gonçalves comes into the shooting space and into his frame. Dixon, surprisingly, has struggled from the free throw line at 57%, but he can consistently hit probably better from the outside. But here we go, a chance for him. Doesn't matter. The stats tell us a story, but it doesn't always mean that we're going to see that execution on the floor.
You turn that around nicely, if you know what I'm saying. It's like the commentators just get away with that. No, it's absolutely true. He's brought his A game here to Kigali, which is fantastic, because you know, it's a player who needs to find his place within the ranks, but he's come on strong, and he's a starter. He's in the starting five every time.
Well, in that win over Zamalek, Coles, Dixon, and Slimane both had 19, 20, and 21 points respectively. And you feel that if they are to be victorious today, they're going to have a similar output from those three key players.
Misses that last shot. We've got a BAL champion from season 1 who's on the court now. His name is Solo Diabate of the Côte d'Ivoire, of course playing for Zamalek last season. This is Moraes running out of space. Ball comes back out. Cipriano's on as well. Off the rim, back into the hands of Slimane, who makes it safe. You will not wrestle the ball out of his hands. I think his hands are made out of wrought iron, I think.
Hard as nails, he is.
Frustrating for Majok. Tries to spin, tries to find the score into the hands of Johnny Pedro. Tries to get around Majok. Majok doesn't move, and they will get possession, US Monastir.
We saw a couple of great defensive possessions by both Petro and Monastir, and you see the value of the presence in the paint of Ater Majok. Can scare off even some of the best offensive players. Pedro travels, trying to think about what to do on the offensive end.
Well, Leani going to the bench, and just want to go across to Usher. Usher, you feel the atmosphere in here is absolutely electric. There are fans, they're just stood up. They're so excited about this matchup between these two giants of Africa, right?
This is absolutely exactly what we expected of a BAL final, and obviously we don't have Rwandan representation when you look at the teams, but still the fans came out. There's some that have traveled from across the region in East Africa, but also from across the continent. You have Paco, the celebrated Senegalese fan, who is right behind me here.
And that's great. You know, come across, join the festivities, get involved and party. You know, let's party around what is an extraordinary event. This is the second season. We've gone to 3 venues now. Who knows how many venues we'll be going to, locations we'll be going to next season, because it's just getting bigger and better. Every year it grows in size, stature, and there's so many projects that we'll talk about throughout the broadcast because
a showcase and a celebration and extremely high-level competition.
That will be foul, team foul number 4, I think, for US Monastir. Both on 4 now. It's Majok who picks up the foul on that occasion. That's his second.
That might be a little cause for concern for Coach Perisic, and you see Liani making his way to the table, and I think Majok probably going to head off the court.
Yeah, and it's a similar situation because Johnny Pedro also on 2. You know, we're not even at the end of the first quarter, and we've obviously, you know, seen that there's physical out there, to say the least. Moreira, oh, he's caught up there, but he does well to get the pass out off the metal. Slimane defends well, picked up by Dixon. Good opportunity this is for US Monastir to try and get a lead. Extend their lead. And they will pick up the ball there. It was just knocked out of the hands of, I think it was Cipriano, wasn't it?
It was Dindao. Dindao looked like he had lost control of the basketball, but kept it on the baseline and then pass knocked out.
Here is Cipriano. He'll be 40 in September, up against the 41-year-old Slimane. Shot clock going down. Cipriano biding his time. They know they played against each other so many times. Tries to float it over the top, just comes off the metal and into the hands of Slimane. There's a big smile between the 2 guys there. That's a beautiful moment, that is.
In his youth, Cipriano used a lot in the ISO, and perhaps the first signs that we're seeing, but using all of that experience, could not get the score on as even for both players on that one.
Gayaza unable to take the pass, and it goes out of play. They will keep possession, though, US Monastir. We are 54 seconds left on the clock before the end of the first quarter. Good time to US Monastir, the Tunisian Giants, the 6-time winners of the National League in Tunisia, to try and extend their advantage. Dixon under a little bit of pressure, and he loses possession. Good fighting, of course, from Petro de Luanda. That's something that they'll do every time.
Petro don't get enough credit for the work they do on the defensive. In fact, both of these teams really great defensively. They will take away passing lanes, they will contest every shot, and we're seeing what happens when 2 juggernauts meet in a large profile, or the highest profile game on the continent.
Well, that's really good play. That is from Gerson Domingos. Draws the foul. Gayaza is the player who picks up his first foul, I believe. And we go straight to the free throw line because US Monastir on 5 fouls.
Free throw line was very important in that win over Zamalek for US Monastir. Both teams went to the line for a combined 72 attempts, 34 times it was for US Monastir, and we'll see how much of a factor that is. But so far, it's been a pretty efficient defensive performance by both teams.
Moreira.
Only averaging 16 minutes a game, has had limited usage. 10 points, though, and 4 rebounds in this Basketball Africa League in Season 2. Slimane gets his first break.
Moreira, of course, he didn't get that basket because it came after the foul that was committed, and that means that he gets 2 shots from the free throw line. And he's on 3 points at the moment.
Only a 40% free throw shooter.
Beautifully sunk. Well, it's going up now, isn't it?
It sure is. The team shoots at around 70% on the season.
16 points each. Liani Leani goes through. Oh, he's unable to sink it, and it's been successfully defended there by Yannick Moreira. And it's Petro who will have, well, there's a couple of seconds difference on the shot clock, but it's a chance for them to try and get points. Picked up by Cipriano. Moreira. And that's another foul, and this time, I think is that Manawi?
We've seen Moreira and Lopez get a couple of touches in the low block, and they've gone to the ISO and an opportunity for the post to get to work. And Moreira drawing a foul or either getting a favorable outcome every time. Yannick Moreira played for the Raptors 905 in the G League, was a former NCJAA, he was junior college MVP in 2012 and All-American, and of course has been with Primero de Agosto earlier in his career, and now here with Petro de Luanda.
And they move ahead, look at that. 5 points, 3 rebounds, 3 from 3, free throw line. And now it's 3 from 4. I was going to say 4 from 4. It's always the case, isn't it? I don't know what's going on. Diabate! Big statement, drive and score there for the Ivorian. And how about that? They move ahead by a point. And that's the end of the first quarter. Petro de Luanda with 17 points. US Monastir, thanks to this man here, the NBA champion with Zamalek last season, Solo Diabate, 18. We are going to take a small break. We're going to gather ourselves and get back into the slipstream in a couple of moments. Join us once again. Welcome back here to the BK Arena in Kigali, Rwanda. Petro de Luanda leading US Monastir by a point. It's very tight. It's a tussle. It's the finals, of course, and there's so much excitement here tonight. And already we're seeing just how important it is for both of these teams. They are fighting for everything. There's been some high-caliber basketball on show tonight.
Fantastic basketball, but you also see that sometimes stats can lie. And Diabate was a very key contributor late in the fourth quarter when they picked up their win over US Monastir. His ability to pass the ball, his defensive plays, and here he gives Monastir some momentum coming into the second quarter.
Momentum, a key word, and a key word that will be underlined in a big way as we see that man, Moreira gets the ball out to Cipriano. Cipriano into the paint and a little beautiful bucket. In fact, it's a mid-range 2 there from Yannick Moreira. He just manages to get it over the top. Saw a little bit of light.
Turnaround jump shot on the baseline for Moreira, and high usage right now for Petro de Luanda.
And Leani with a drive through the paint. Oh, the pass is not good enough, and it's Manawi just slips, unable to take the pass. Too much velocity, too much speed.
An inaccurate pass. Again, a look at the work of Moreira in the post. Nice touch and using all of that length to get over the defense.
And we get back to the action. We're just going to resolve this small conundrum, but with the clock, everything's good. No, it isn't.
It's going to take a second for the table and the officials to sort out.
It's all about synchronization, Q, isn't it?
It is. It is. Both these teams are in sync. We've seen very little to choose between the two clubs, and fair reflection of their respective strengths, and I don't think it should go too much. We'll probably see more lead changes. We're already at 5 lead changes. They've been tied 5 times, and I think we can expect more of that as the game develops.
Petro de Luanda just gathering for a moment. Ball Cipriano into the hands of that man Gerson Domingos, and you can see that Petro just moving ahead by a point. Cipriano finds Moreira, tries to get past Gayaze. You know what he'll try and do. He'll try and get some oil in the machine and turn and spin, but his shot comes off the rim, made safe by Leani. And a big drive. This is what he does so well. It's just extraordinary. Vilas Liani of US Monastir sees a gap, drives through, and makes a signature dunk.
He just has a knack for finding creases in the lane and finding gaps. And what he has another knack for is using all of that athleticism.
Now it's the perfect moment to go and join Usher, who's joined by the NBA Deputy Commissioner and Chief Operating Officer, Mark Tatum.
Well, thank you very much, Robbie. Mark, you're welcome to the broadcast. What do you think of the championship game so far?
Usher, thanks for having me. First of all, it's great to see you again. What a great championship game. The environment here is exciting. This building is practically full to see the finals. Two evenly matched teams. The coach of the year in Jose Neto with Angola. Three of the BAL all-first team. They're on the court right now. So very evenly matched. Both teams were 6-1, came in second in their divisions. And we're seeing that today at the score being 20-19.
Absolutely incredible. How special has this week in Kigali been between the playoffs and all the activities surrounding the games?
It's been so special. This is obviously game number 38, the final game of the BAL Season 2. And it's not just the games where the fans have been coming out in record numbers, but it's also all the other activities that we've been doing while we've been in the community. We've had lots of different youth clinics. We've had a coaches clinic. We've done a Threes for Trees initiative in the community. We've done an innovation summit. So the basketball community across Africa and across the entire continent, it's here, and you can feel that energy and excitement.
Absolutely right. What's next for this league after a successful season 2?
I'm so excited for next season. Last season we did the game in the season of the pandemic in a bubble. Here we expand to 3 different markets, in Dakar, in Cairo, and now Kigali. And we're looking forward to see the great level of play. The incorporation of the academy players into our BAL Elevate program has been wonderful, and we look forward to continuing to grow fan interest, grow the game on the court and off the court as well.
And finally, let's talk about the fans that come out in big numbers tonight.
It's incredible. The energy in the building is wonderful. There's fans from all over the continent, Europe, America, from everywhere. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, thank you so much, Mark Tatum, for your time. Roby, back to you.
Thank you so much, Mark Tatum. It's been an absolute pleasure. Usher, sterling job as usual. Back to the action. And we're going to take a small break, and we'll be back in a few moments' time. It's Petro de Luanda 24, US Monastir 20. Welcome back here to the BK Arena in Kigali, Rwanda. As you can see on the scoreboards, 24-20. It's shifting from one side to the other. Both teams very eager to make their mark, but it's very difficult because we do have 2 very talented teams with lots of experienced players in national teams, but also, at club level, like these 2 teams, US Monastir, Tunisia, Petro de Luanda, Angola. Very tight tussle here as we see a big long-range shot coming in from Solo Diabate. The Ivorian, Majok, tries to get out of the undergrowth and draws the foul.
Wow, just fantastic rebound by Majok, skying over everybody. It's a battle in the paint, and you're going to see a lot of that. You see him elevate in between the 2 Petro defenders, and it draws the contact from Morera. Morera has been the go-to guy for Petro de Luanda in the paint, and it's a definite strategy. They're going to force Petro to try and cover him. He had a career-high 38 points, 2014 in an Angolan team win over Australia, and I think he's trying to replicate some of that form.
5 points, 3 rebounds. He's always gathering details, information, and every time there's a big 3-pointer when I'm about to introduce her. Cipriano with a beautiful triple there. We can now go over to Usher because little timeout, a moment where the players were talking with their coaches. What did you pick up, Usher?
Well, just listening in to Coach Perisic, who was telling his US Monastir players that it's going to be a long night if they don't stick to the basics. They need to just make sure they focus, play some good defense, and with that confidence, they can get on with the offense.
Get on with the offense. Yeah, it's that's the ideal scenario, isn't it?
It is the ideal scenario. And waiting to just see what the call from the teams are, and I think there was a timeout called by the bench, and
We have to follow
It's a referee's timeout, actually. They're going to go have a look at a play, and I think it's going to be about points.
El Hadji Diouf, you might recognize him, one of Senegal's finest football players, soccer players in world football, of course.
Well, just to give you a quick update from here, Hortensia is just trying to see whether it was a three-pointer or a two-pointer for Cipriano.
Good, thank you, Asha. We can see just right in front of the screen there, just look at the playback. Let's have a look at that foot, left foot. Is the right foot on the line? That's the big question.
Well, we can't actually zoom in. It's a little bit pixelated.
Well, your eyes are not good enough to. Come on, let's sort that out.
From here, it looks like it's a 3.
And we'll see her reaction in one moment.
They have some agreement between the officials, and it's a 3.
Okay, so we go ahead. So the 3-point stand. Let's just have a look at this again. Cipriano, beautiful bucket.
Breaks him down off the crossover. This creates some separation. Fakes the use of the screen, pulls back, knocks down the 3.
Yeah, but come on, let's think about it. He's going to be 40 in September. He's done that a million times. He knows where the line is. Come on. He knows that not to go over the line.
Absolutely. He has experience. He's played at the top level in the world, the Olympics, the World Cup, and he's bringing that experience here.
And he's at it again this time. It doesn't drop, but, well, he's brave enough to take a big one from downtown. Majok picks up the pass and the paint. Coles Jr. This is a three-pointer. He's right just in front of us, and Leani gets the ball. Slimane rolls it into Leani's hands, and there's Diabate, gets rid of his man and gets rid of another player, trying to run the back pass towards Leani. Doesn't come off.
No, that was poor execution and probably a very poor decision. Sometimes you got to wonder what goes through a player's head, like when that happens.
Definitely. 27-21, 6:40 left in the first half. And this is a close encounter of the African kind. It really is. There's a wonderful battle that's taking place here. Ball's being picked up by Cipriano, gets another chance to do something. His pass gets intercepted there by Coles Jr.
Cipriano really looking to find his offense here. Only forcing it a little bit.
Leoni! Diabate with an imperial pass, and how about that for a beautiful score? Leoni just one-handed dunk.
Second time we've seen Leani get into the lane, and that one right on top of the defense. Wow.
And the replay, you'll just understand, that is sensational, isn't it? Leani gets himself into those pockets of space afterwards. Nothing is going to stop him.
Gaku just could not get as high as Air Leani, and Air Leani put a show on for the crowd here in PK Arena.
And they're just reeling that lead back in. It's just a 4-point advantage for Petro de Luanda. Coles Jr. takes the pass. Dundao is back on as well. There it is over the top. This time Diabate unable to get it, but there is some contact there as we see the image, of course, of the BAL president, Amadou Elofau, who is just behind us here doing an interview in French.
There's big trouble for US Monastir as Ater Majok picks up his third foul.
Yeah, that's serious. That is serious, of course. First player to pick up 3 fouls. He's a player you really want on court for the entire game. If they have to take him out and put him on the bench, then that's going to be a problem for that man. The coach, Miodrag Perisic. The tussle and the hustle in the paint is just extraordinary. And Slimane, always the first player to throw his body in the line.
He plays like a captain, and his experience is very important tonight, and leadership as well.
Leani again, look at that! He's extraordinary. Standout performance already. Here with 5.5 left to play in the second quarter.
He scored the last 4 points for US Monastir, and you can feel his presence. Remember last year he said the reason they lost was because he played only 1 minute and 57 seconds. And tonight he's showing his importance on the team.
8 points for Leani. A lot of that coming off the slash and the cut into the paint. And he has been highly effective for this US Monastir outfit.
straight to the free throw line. This is good for the Tunisians, getting themselves back into this. And Leani, that's a fine, it's a three-point score it is for Leani, the 30-year-old, coming on leaps and bounds. But just look at that, again, fighting for absolutely everything. Solo Diabate defending that, just seeing exactly what he could possibly do. Carlos Moraes losing possession. US Monastir back with the ball in their hands. Coles Jr. Look at Leani, just watch out for Leani. He's there every time this time. He can't just drop it over the top. But you can see what happens. Every time he gets into the paint, he's drawing fouls.
Well, very similarly to what we saw from Petro de Luanda, where they were going to Moreira for some high usage. Leani has been standout, so they're trying to get him as many touches as possible. Gets the mismatch on Moraes, turns and draws the foul, and now forces a timeout.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that, you know, he's kind of replacing Ate Majok, but he's a little bit quicker, you know. He's just got a little bit better acceleration, you know, in his own style, and that enables him to actually move away from his defender quite quickly.
But to go to a cliche, basketball is a game of adjustments. You know, you have to adjust on the fly. So without the presence of your key primary defender, Leani is first of all picking up some of the offense and providing an extra option offensively, and on the defensive end, you know, he's known as a guy who can be inside the paint and can guard well and can also pick up some rebounds. 11 points and averaging 11.83 points for just about 23 minutes. We might see a lot more of that because of Ate Majok being in foul trouble, so he'll get a couple more minutes for sure.
You know, and every time that Leani gets himself into the paint, the defense, they're like snapping away like a basque of hungry Nile crocodiles. Can't get anywhere near him, and here he is. He's just taking the pass and doing the damage.
Well, he leads the scoring for US Monastir with 9, and he's still got a chance to go to the free throw line, possibly going to be the first player in double figures for either team. And Petro were in danger of pulling away, but US Monastir just managed to rein them in, and you see the value of a momentum dunk that since the Leani throwdown on top of Gaku, they've managed to capitalize on a couple of possessions.
And here he is, that with that signature dunk, just crashing it in, one-handed right-hand dunk there. It's all in the head. Yes, it is.
It's on the head.
It's on the head. It's
on
going
the head of Gaku.
Yeah, that's right. 7 rebounds as well. So Leani, and he will go into double figures if he manages to get this shot. And every time that we tee it up, we should just keep quiet. So it's a pretty good run it is for US Monastir, about to go level once again, neck and neck.
Well, they are 8 of 10 or 8 of 11 on that miss from Leani.
And there is double figures there for Leani. Full court press here by US Monastir. Little change of tactics. Dundao, watch out for Dundao. Haven't seen too much of Dundao just yet. Still waiting for him to make his mark as the ball goes up. The foul's been committed, and Yannick Moreira gets knocked down by Slimane.
Here's a coverage problem right now for US Monastir. Petro are really going inside the paint and allowing him to express himself. And much like Leani, here's a chance for Moreira to now get up into double figures. And the other thing that he's doing well is that he's drawing fouls on the US Monastir bigs, putting them in a bit of foul trouble. That's the first on Slimane, but they've got to find ways to try and create some coverage to stop this man inside the paint.
Yeah, and the fact that Johnny Pedro has got 2 fouls, of course, they'll be leaning a little bit more on him. Yannick Moreira, Gaku, of course, with 2 fouls as well. So they've got to be careful. You know, you've got to manage your players and how they are faring out there on the court, which is always quite complicated for coaches. But
shooting 40%, as I mentioned, on the season or in the tournament, try and improve that.
This time Leani with the rebound. That's his 8th rebound so far. On the boards doing his stuff. They get possession back, came off the leg of Moraes, I think. And Pedro coming back on. He'll replace Moreira.
They usually are used interchangeably by Coach Jose Neto. It's the first time that we saw them together. It's a rare occasion when they're both on the floor, but interesting rotations being utilized here.
There is Diabate, the Ivorian, to Slimane. Slimane. Oh, look at that from Slimane. It just doesn't go. Very close, though. Beautiful acceleration. Matthews getting his first moment out on court in this final. As Moraes goes for a drive, off the boards it goes. A little bit of a flap. Diabate, he's got wonderful hands, doesn't he? Gets the ball out wide. There's the attempt at the Coles Jr. to try and lay that ball up and in, but it's the foul that's been committed straight to the free throw line.
And that is 5 team fouls for Petro de Luanda with 4 minutes, 32 seconds to play in the second quarter.
Still so much basketball to be played, of course. You can see that was trying to come around the outside. Gaku just getting in his way. Coles Jr.
Well, they average about 11 fast break points where they can on the season, and they are great exponents in transition. And that was a good example of what they do. They do limit their opponents to about 9 fast break points when they are playing well.
BAL just attracting some of the younger followers of this wonderful competition here in Rwanda. Everybody's invited to this party, I can tell you that. Doors open to everyone. Coles Jr. gets the second, and they take a 1-point lead. US Monastir and fighting valiantly to get hold of possession. Diabate here waits for a little bit of support, but a hand gets in the way. It doesn't find Leani.
Both great defensive plays by Diabate and Ndao on that successive possessions.
Just look at that from Coles Jr. Takes the ball out of the hands of Moraes, goes up for the basket. It's been flapped away. Oh, the defensive game here is extraordinary. Ball goes out, Gonçalves tries to get rid of Slimane, goes up for a three-point bucket, and that is extraordinary. Big scores, big defense, big game.
Gotta love the composure from Gonçalves. Faked, wait for the defender to go by him, and then knocks down the important three.
And then watch out for Leani. Leani losing possession here, and draws the foul.
Well, that is an assignment that he was given, Leani, to attack the basket. Coach Perisic saying, just keep asking those questions and see if Petro can answer them. And so far, he's doing well.
He's doing fantastic, isn't he?
Fantastic work. And that three from Gonçalves, fantastic as well.
And the block by Johnny Pedro. That's this, one block by for Petro de Luanda and 2 for US Monastir so far. The initial block that led to the Gonçalves three, you know, quite extraordinary. And Johnny Pedro's defensive game, really top class for the player who was actually born in Portugal, spent time playing in Germany, but of course he was always going to play for Angola, just like his father.
He has been crucial, and love the way that it's used interchangeably. Coach Jose Neto giving him the start in the semifinal, giving him the start today, and then Moreira came in and gave them just a little bit of an offensive edge. And now he's back in, giving them a little bit more inside the paint in terms of defense. Talking about contribution, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 3 or 4 from the free throw line, 3 or 5 on that miss for Leani.
Picked up by Gonçalves. Gonçalves, it's an easy bucket, isn't it? And it's a dunk there for Johnny Pedro. Just dropped into his path. Absolutely buzzing. The Gonçalves-Pedro combination working like gold.
We saw it work against FAP of Cameroon in the semi-final, and it's working again here in the championship game.
Coles Jr. around the outside, loses possession, and they've got a 3-point lead here, Petro de Luanda and US Monastir. They're up against it. Gonçalves, no, he's not going to go for another one. Ndao this time. Ndao!
It won't count.
Unfortunately. And he's a little bit peeved. He's looking up, going, oh, come on, give me it. Give me the points.
They've been looking at the movement on the screens, and the call comes in. We'll see if we can have a look. That's a nice pass to Pedro. Throws down for 2. But referee Hortensia just calls the foul, makes the call on the screen, and we're going to get a timeout here on the floor.
32-29 is the scoreline here. at the BK Arena. A massive, big buzz. We'll catch up with Usher in a moment when she's listened in to what's happening with Coach Jose Neto, who's talking with his players, of course. And we've also got the assistant to Coach Neto is Mary Andrade, who's from Cape Verde. We had her for an interview yesterday, an extraordinary coach, and who's doing great things, not just in Africa, but also in the US of A.
The first African-American coach in the G League. She is another great storyline in terms of gender empowerment across this continental product. And it's not about gender, and I love she said that in the interview yesterday. It's about the ability to do the work, and she said that we're moving further and further away from gender identification when it comes to what work can be produced, and I think she's a great example of that. And adding her value now, she's going to have to add some insights and some value, because this is a do-or-die game.
No, it really is. And I must admit, I've been absolutely, I think that Hortensia Sanchez Carizales of Mexico has done a great job. This is a high, caliber game. There's a lot of focus on this, and she's been holding her own perfectly, doing a great job. We saw her in Cairo, of course, in the Nile Conference, did a brilliant job there, hence the reason why she's here now.
The thankless job, the hardest job in the game of basketball, refereeing.
And talking about Hortensia, she's one of two of the first non-native English-speaking referees in the NBA G League, and she brings that here in Kigali to the playoffs and to the BL final.
Usher, who knows all about languages, she speaks 67 languages. It's gone up by 12 since the last time we spoke. Incredible.
I thought
You're
it was
incredible,
76.
Usher.
Oh, wow, Robbie.
Dixon in possession. 3 minutes left on the clock in this half. US Monastir trailing by 3. Shot doesn't find its way anywhere near the basket. It's been picked up. Petro de Luanda eager to please their fans. Dundao. Shot comes back off. Doesn't redeem himself after not having those 3 points that he went up for just a moment ago. Dixon, oh, perseverance. Just brilliant.
So skillful. Dixon hangs and able to manipulate that and get the score.
Dundao. Moreira back out to Moraes. Plenty of time for that man. He's doing it again. It's another big bucket there coming in from Gonçalves. Up to double figures. 11 in total.
Locked in from long range. Gonçalves had a hot hand in that semi-final at FAP, and here he is picking up from where he left off.
Solo Diabate, the Angolan fans starting to bounce, starting to buzz in a big way, making a lot of noise. There's a lot of basketball to be played. Sliman going up, and he can't find his range on that occasion. Dundao picks it up, lightning fast. Look how quick he is. Oh, he just gets bumped over there by Dixon on the deck. Couldn't get his layup sorted, but the acceleration, it's ridiculous.
He went to ground hard. He was really looking to draw the foul on Dixon. Leant in, probably didn't want to go down as hard as that, and Dixon just not happy. That's Gonçalves locked in from long range. Second one we've seen from downtown.
And is that foul number 4 or 5 for? I think it's
the 14th foul.
14th foul it is. So Coach Neto watches on, thinking we're playing the right game against US Monastir, but we can't get ahead, but we're playing the right game.
They've got to continue to play their style of basketball, and they will continue to do that. They'll move the ball around the perimeter, looking for that as their primary option, and then when it's not available, go inside.
Dundao. And they move up to 36-31 with just 1:40 left on the clock before the half. Dixon drops it into Sliman. Leani can't pick it up. Made safe at the back by Moreira. Look at Dundao. He's off again. And there's another chance. He's not going to go. This time he goes through the middle. Oh, he's got a fine set of skills, this man. Gonçalves up to 13 he goes.
You got to ride the hot hand of the scorer. Now they go to Gonçalves, and he is proving all of his worth on the offensive end.
Coles Jr., Leani. Coles Jr. once again, long-range shot. It's a triple that comes off the metal and doesn't go on the scoreboard. 38-31, Dundao, watch out, the acceleration. And just calming things down momentarily. Gonçalves, Moreira up against Leani. Does it go in? It drops. That's a big score. Leani on the ground.
Tough cover is going to work and playing with confidence, Moreira.
It's a big, well, it's a mid-range shot there by Coles Jr. Didn't get the points. Moraes picks the ball up. Tries to get past him. Sliman. Now it's US Monastir. It's 3 against 2. He's going to go up. Coles Jr. gets the ball out. Dixon for the layup. Beautiful done.
Opting for the safety on the extra pass there, Coles Jr. Dixon up to 12. Timeout called on the floor with a 7-point game. Robbie, 15 seconds left. It's going to be an interesting one.
Well, it's been interesting from tip-off, I think. That's a big score and a very important score. Just getting himself taking the final pass there, Dixon, and just knocking it off the glass and in. This is tantalizingly close, despite the fact that we see 7 there. It's a timeout for Petro.
I feel like we've seen 3 phases of the game in terms of the way that Petro played. Carlos Moraes picking up the scoring early, started out hot with his 7 points. We saw a phase where Yannick Moreira was running the offense for them, forcing changes of the coverage inside for US Monastir up to 11 points, and then closing out the second quarter was really Gonçalves inside and outside, and he leads all scorers on the floor with 13.
Yeah, it's an interesting scenario when you actually see Gaku, Pedro both with 3 fouls each, and Majok with 3. But Majok, we haven't seen him for the last 5 minutes since he picked up his 3rd, whereas Pedro is on, Gaku is off. They've got similar players in that position, which obviously enables Coach Neto to actually just rotate them, so he can rest one while the other plays.
Well, he's got to also protect his stars and see if he can't get them to go on. We have FAP basketball fans in the house, and they were here in large numbers supporting the team from Cameroon, who finished 4th after that in that 3rd, 4th place playoff against Zamalek.
Yeah, exactly, and they totally deserve to make it into the semi-finals. A strong performance that enabled them to battle in, having knocked out Reg, of course, the Rwandan team of representatives, as we get back on court. 15 seconds to go before the end of the half.
Score here, and we get closer and closer to that 10-point differential. Wonder what they come up with.
Well, the instructions are very clear from Coach Perisic to US Monastir. No 3 points on display.
Yeah, you don't want to concede. Moraes is pretty good at those as well. Oh, that's so close, but it's not good enough. And they did their job, but it was down to Moraes not getting his range rather than a block. It is Petro de Luanda 40, US Monastir 33. We're at the halftime stage of this final of the BAL Season 2 here in Kigali. It's pulsating stuff. We'll be back. You've got to join us. You've got to join us.
Well, it's halftime here at the BK Arena in Kigali, and it's the championship game in the Basketball Africa League. Petro de Luanda 40, US Monastir 33. And if you were trying to predict this, Usher, it would have been difficult to call the score at halftime, but there's still 20 minutes of basketball before we crown our second champion in the Basketball Africa League.
Well, talking about champion of the BAL, there's going to be a new champion this year after Zamalek failed to make it to the final to defend their trophy. But talking about Petro de Luanda, who are ahead by 7 points at the halftime break, this is a team that has gone unbeaten, 44 games in Angola in the league, and they bring that experience and exposure here to the BAL. But the question remains, Q, can they win their first ever BAL title?
I think the question will be answered by Dixon, Sliman, Leane, and wonder what role Majok is going to play with 3 fouls. Is one of the players who is in foul trouble. Gonçalves has been the hard hand, 5 of 6 from the field, 13 points. to lead all scorers on the floor. Moreira's had 11. Dixon has been perfect from the field, and we've seen his ability down the stretch to hit big shots. He's going to have to make a couple more of those.
Well, you talk about Majok. He's back on the court. He'll be playing through with his 3 fouls, and let's see if he can control that and play the next quarters together.
Thanks, guys. Back to the action. Petro de Luanda 40, US Monastir 33. Colts Jr., Leani just backing into Gaku. Majok, 2-pointer, mid-range, beautiful score. Beautiful score indeed.
He's shown the ability to be able to knock down both long-range and mid-range shots, and that's a nice start for Petro and, or rather for US Monastir and that man, Arthur Majok.
Ball comes out to Dundao. Moreira, Dundao. What options does he have? Yeah, that's it's just a giveaway, isn't it? Little mistake there from Dundao.
Just an error on the screen again. Moreira gets called for that one, and interesting that Coach Jose Neto has gone with the reverse of his starting 5 and brought Moreira back in the place of Petro.
Might be because of the 2 fouls scenario, because he's got 2 and Pedro's got 3. Dixon with a shot that just comes off the metal. And once again, you can just see that he just draws the foul straight to the free throw line. This is a perfect start for US Monastir.
He's facing that 7-point deficit. Nice that they could just come in, hit the 1 open shot, and now a chance with the game clock stopped to make further inroads into that lead. This is the leading scorer for US Monastir. Michael Dixon, 15.7 or 15.17 points per game, is 57% from the free throw line. And he's going to need to play big here in these final 20 minutes, or 19 minutes now.
Petro de Luanda with Gaku taking the ball into enemy territory. He has that man, Moraes, from Salves. Here he is, Dundao, gets the ball out. Gaku, loads of time for Moraes. Moraes, beautifully done. Swing it around, make the pass, get it back to the man who's got a little bit of space.
Starting out the same way he started out the game, comfortable from the perimeter. That's 3-pointer number 3 for Carlos Moraes.
And still 0 3-pointers for US Monastir out of 8 shots. Their range is not good. Slimane needs to come to the fore when he's on the floor.
Someone's got to find some touch from beyond the arc.
Just running a little bit loose the ball from out of the hands of Moraes. And 8:28 in the third, and we've got a 6-point lead. You can just see what happened there. That's beautifully done. Dundao is such a deceiving little beautiful player who just manages to creep around. He sucks in the defenders, gets the pass out wide, and just see what happens.
Playmaking of the ice holder, shifting the defense, and that's just great team basketball. Dixon goes up. It rattles the metal, but it doesn't drop. Dundao. Gaku. Moraes. He's got Moreira just outside of him. Goes for the 3-pointer himself. It's just front side of the rim. And taken and picked up, collected, tidied up by that man, Majok. Majok, of course, on 3 fouls, so he has to be a little bit careful. There he is firing in a long-range shot from down near the baseline. That shot really a reflection of his foul situation. Maybe not comfortable just dipping the shoulder and looking for that physical play, but trying to stay involved in the offense.
Ball going out wide. He's been the master of scoring so far, Gonsalves, but he's coming up against Majok there. It's a little bit complicated. Shot clock down to 1 second, but it doesn't matter. Gonsalves just produces the goods with a beautiful triple.
He's got the hot hand. You don't want to leave him open at all. And he continues to pile on the points from the outside.
US Monastir passing the ball out. Majok just inside. That's another big score. I think it's a 3-pointer.
Who would have put money on the fact that Majok, the big, would be the first one to knock down a long-range jumper, and he gets into 10.
3 points, 8 of 19. That was the first 3-pointer out of 11 for US Monastir. Just to give you an idea of just how how their shooting hasn't been coming. Gaku this time. Sorry, I lost my words because my eyes were big because I was watching Gaku produce that cracking shot there, 49-40. That's the biggest lead that Petro de Luanda have had, and with 6:32 left in the third quarter.
Back up to 9 it goes, and it is that three-point line that is proving a point of pain for US Monastir.
Now the trouble is that Petro de Luanda, they've got 3 players on 3 fouls, 2 on 2. They need to be really careful. Leane's three-pointer. Massive score there for Leane. He's up to 14.
It's so strange. Basketball just really a conundrum. Seeing one go through, you'll find the teammates find some confidence and they knock down as well.
Moraes out to Dundao. Moreira up against Majok. What's he going to do? He's going to try and shrug him off. He tries to drop it in, but to no avail. But Majok picks up his 4th foul.
That's really great recognition by the Petro offense. They were looking for that ISO on Moreira and Majok. Majok is going to go and plead his case, but he's picked up his 4th foul. And that's going to be, I think, him going to the bench. You see the frustration from Coach Perisic leaning in, going to the jump hook. A foul called, and this is the long-range ball from Leane.
Wow.
It is good scouting from the Petro de Luanda coaching staff to target Ater Majok and make sure they take him out of the game as early as possible. And it's working so far. He's frustrated by the calls from the officials. But for US Monastir, he really has to calm down and see how to get back into this game.
But Usher, you know, when I actually look at the number of fouls of the different players for Petro de Luanda, they could play the same game. They're in a much more difficult position, in fact, when you actually see Petro de Luanda with those 3 players on 3 and 2 on 2. So Majok with 4, okay, that's bad, but they can play that game too.
Well, Robbie, you talk about Petro. They are a team with depth. Absolutely everyone on that bench can play and deliver like the ones on court.
But that is very true, Usher.
Well, they've also chosen the right guy to foul, and it's always a game of percentages. Moreira, I said earlier, a 40% free throw shooter, and was 3 of 6 before this. Sliman back in. Majok is going to have to go frustratedly to the bench. Sliman going to try and get himself going offensively. Has to do it here for US Monastir.
But I think that, you know, when look at the Gaku, and Sliman's going to pick up a foul for that because I think that it was all over Gaku. The hands went up. There you can see there was a little bit of bear hugging going on from the 41-year-old, and he knows it.
Wherever Sliman is, he's known for his physical style of play. The Golden players know him well, and they will play a little bit with the visuals and try and extract as many opportunities for the referees to make calls.
Now he's on Moreira rather than Gaku. It's interesting, isn't it? Here's Dundao. Waits for support, but shot clock down to 5. Need to try and get themselves a shot going in. Gaku, he loses possession. Sliman picks it up. It's going to be Coles Jr. Oh, the loss of control from Coles Jr. The American unable to deal with that.
You can feel Sliman willing Coles Jr. to just hold on to that pass. Was unable to reel it in. And just looked up, lost concentration for a second, and cost him the possession.
It's been a very tough afternoon for
Baba.
Coles Jr.
No, not for Baba.
You
not
talk
for
about
Baba, the mascot. Because he's right behind you, Asher. That's right.
Baba is having a lot of fun today.
Sorry, carry on, Asher. I got in your way. I do apologize.
It's okay. I love Baba.
Baba is amazing.
Well, I was saying that Coles Jr. has had a long afternoon. He's just had 1 point on the board, and that's very unlike him.
Crikey, just look at that hustle. That is a massive, massive battle there. Sliman and Carlos Moraes just getting tangled up in a big way. It didn't come out for about 3 seconds.
This is just a little bit of physicality and niggle coming into this.
When you talk about, sorry, Q, to catch a shot, it is the captain's battle when you see the 2 veterans fighting out.
They are experienced, they're veterans, and they're no love lost between the 2 teams. They're going to play hard. They're going to continue to get physical inside the paint. And the referees, I think, are going to start calling it just a little bit tighter here.
Yeah, but that's his third foul. And it's his 2 fouls in the space of 2 minutes. It's not good because we've still got another quarter to play, and we're not even into the second part of the third quarter. Giving the ball away. Frustration.
We've seen the play get a bit scrappy from both teams just in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, it's one of those real arm wrestle third quarter scenarios, isn't it? Dixon, who's going to take control? Who's going to get their finger on the pulse of this third quarter? Points from turnovers, 11-7. Battle on the ground once again. Just look at this.
And just before that, 15 turnovers being forced from this Petro outfit.
Well, it's Petro who regained possession here, having lost it just a few moments ago. And just over 5 minutes left in the third quarter. And Leani will go and try and put a bit of pressure on Gaku, with Gonçalves getting the ball out to Moraes. Gaku, his father's from Guinea, of course. We had Slack from Guinea, who were one of the quarter-finalists here. Gonçalves, shot clock down to 6 seconds. A traveling call there on Moreira.
I thought Gonçalves could have looked at Moreira just again, because Slimane is skating on thin ice in terms of foul trouble, and they should have gone to him to see if they could get a fourth foul.
And they didn't. 49, Petro de Luanda, 43, US Monastir. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Don't go away. Well, this mesmerizing showdown, the final of the BAL Season 2, pits together Petro de Luanda, US Monastir, and it's 49-63, third quarter. You can see how much time's left in this third quarter. And, well, tactics, it's all about tactics. And Usher knows about tactics because she goes and spies a lot. She was spying again, Q. Usher, what did you pick up? Just don't tell anybody apart from us, okay?
Well, I'm not giving you any tactics today or just right now. And I'll just tell you what Solo Diabate just told his US Monastir players and teammates. He said, guys, we're just down 6. There's a lot of playing time here, and you have to believe the Ivorian man. He knows a thing or two about winning a BAL final. He won last year with Zamalek.
Yeah, absolutely, and he played with the Côte d'Ivoire, and he's battled out and played some big clashes against major teams. This is Dixon, who just drops it up. It's a lovely look to the left there, Q, just to decoy his maneuver, and then he obviously goes for the points. It's a 4-point game now.
Fantastic high-pressure finish, and they are now back within 4.
So tight, Dundao, Moreira. Petro de Luanda losing possession here. It's been picked up by Marnawi. Marnawi missed the first game, but missed the quarterfinals, came back into the semi-finals. He sees the gap open up, and honestly, they're looking around, the Petro players, saying, what was going on there? We should have really defended that. Who was meant to go and defend it?
That was a great read, Dundao, and the Petro players just caught on their heels. Marnawi made the read, went right into the paint, got the 2, and what he's also done is given this US Monastir team some momentum. They are back within 2 points and setting us up for a thrilling final 13 minutes.
Oh, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. You know, this is far from a done deal, of course, but when you actually look at Coach Jose Neto, he's obviously working his magic and winning trophies already this season, you know, winning the Angolan League. But he's also started to move on up and win trophies in silverware since he's been there, since last year, of course. And trying to catch up and reel in Vladimiro Romero. 18 trophies for the Angolan Giants between 1989 and 99. So he's got a long way to go. There's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of wins to get himself there, but he's only been there for 2 seasons.
That's some fantastic insights, and it just shows you the pedigree of the clubs that we have in front of us. 2 of the most decorated sporting clubs on the continent, arguably, and 2 of the best basketball clubs that we have to showcase here.
Talking of Jose Neto, Usher, were you with the Petro team?
Yes, absolutely. Just trying to listen into the 2022 BAL Coach of the Year, Jose Neto, saying that they need to see how to drive into the basket, get some fouls, but get some work done. And, you know, increase that lead on the scoreboard.
They're being very physical, aren't they, US Monastir, and just using up time, of course, and not allowing them to make the pass or to get the shot in. But when you've got that man who gets his hands on the ball, anything is possible. Salvis with a big three-pointer.
He has ice in his veins right now. That was a big-time shot. Just created a little bit of separation, and he is knocking down jumpers at a high percentage.
And who is matching him but Manawi this time? And he pushes his tally up to 5 points.
Back and forth we go.
With 3 minutes left on the clock in the third. Johnny Pedro comes back on. 3 fouls to his name. Into the hands of that man, Gerson Domingos, and the battle and the tussle, and they lose possession. US Monastir winning small battles now, and they'll like that.
Manawi has provided just a little bit of an offensive injection. He's also brought some energy to the floor, and you can just see him. He's excited. His body language is positive, and it's having a positive effect on his teammates.
And the big news is Johnny Pedro on 4 fouls, of course. And you can see that Yannick Moreira is just trying to get himself on, but he's not coming on just yet. They're taking a risk in keeping Johnny Pedro on the floor for the moment. Sliman, Leani. It's a 2-point game. There's a traveling call on Leani. Frustration for the player. The second highest scorer in this US Monastir team.
Crucial possessions, every one of them count, and we talk about time pressure starting to have a factor. There's still a lot of game time left, but players will be aware of the value of each of these possessions. Gonçalves takes him to 19.
Yeah, there is a change, of course, and there is Gonçalves. Big performance for him tonight. And Johnny Pedro making way for Yannick Moreira. Oh, he's just nearly got his hands on that. Gayaza, and it's US Monastir take full advantage. It's a brilliant bit of a skullduggery taking place there by the boys from North Africa.
He had a couple of big plays down the stretch against Zamalek, and here he is playing the same kind of role, Diabate.
That's nicely done. He literally hit the ball in his pocket, didn't he, Gonçalves, for that one?
Well protected, and that left hand is red hot.
Dixon, 54-52, 2:11 left on the clock before we enter that fourth quarter. Dixon with a massive three-pointer there. The triple on the scoreboard. We're all level. I think it was 2, in fact. 54 each. Gonçalves.
Just inside, but still a big-time high-pressure shot from Dixon.
That's a good drive coming in there, and the foul has been committed. Gayaza, he'll pick up his first foul.
We've got a little bit of outside shooting and some exquisite play from Gonçalves, but this time going back to the man who's been pretty good inside the paint, Yannick Moreira. And he's going to go back to a place that he has struggled from, the free throw line. Just a little push-up with the right, and then finishing with that trusted left hand.
Points so far. He's one of the players on 3 fouls, of course, in this team, alongside that man, Gaku.
Pressure free throws for Moreira. You see around the 40% mark, 44% right now.
And this time he's good. He gets his pair of points there, 55, 56, 54. In fact, the score on 1:45 left. And some very tight basketball being played here. Both teams deserved finalists, of course. Gayaza into the hands of Sliman. Sliman, can he do something here? Doesn't get his range. It goes straight up. And Moreira with a massive dunk there. Yannick Moreira. Bring it on. Making some noise here in Kigali.
We've seen statement dance from US Monastir. This is Petro's own version of it. Yannick Moreira out on the open floor. And it's really the pass from Gonçalves. Moreira skies up, tomahawks it down.
Crash it in, smash it in, make it yours. Pumped up, fired up, ready to rock. Petro de Luanda take a 4-point lead. And there is a timeout, of course, which will give these players a little moment to think about, prepare themselves for what's next. Because I've got no clue what's coming up, Q. I don't know where this is going to go. At the moment, it's tantalizingly close.
What we do know is that we're going to see some more fantastically tactical and spectacular basketball, and we have two of the best on the continent on display, and it should be a roller coaster ride. You said it in the interim, or in the intro, Robbie, we should prepare for some turbulence. Well, the turbulence is here.
And we will go over to Asha, because Asha's going to give us some insight in what has been happening with coach Miodrag Perisic, the Serbian, feeding his players information, vital information. Asha, over to you.
Well, Coach Perisic is just saying they need to attack the basket, and someone cutting in from the best line. Let's see if they can deliver on this possession.
Let's see, Leani. Dixon downtown, Leani with the rebound, and that's a foul. And that's a foul by Yannick Moreira, and Moreira will now have 4 fouls, just like Johnny Pedro, it looks like, which is serious, and it's 5 team fouls as well, Asha.
Yes, it is 5 team fouls for Petro de Luanda, so from now on, for the remaining 1 and 16 seconds, every time they foul, they'll go on the line.
Pedro Gaku with the 4 fouls. Moreira picking up that 3rd. Going to force some interesting rotations, especially down the stretch.
There's a lot of game reading in this fixture. It's obviously the BAL final, and helping Coach Jose Neto on the sidelines is Mary Andrade, who is the first black and African woman to coach an NBA G League, which is the Birmingham Squadron, an affiliate of the Pelicans.
There's Leani there, 58-55, and 1 minute to go in the 3rd quarter. And that's Gonçalves, who actually picks up his 2nd foul, 21 points in the bag. Sorry, Gonçalves going to the free throw line, I do apologize. I don't know what... I know that both teams on 5 team fouls, of course, Asha. This is really, really tight, isn't it?
It is tight, but it's also something you pointed out earlier. This game has been physical, but in the 3rd quarter, both teams have stepped it up and playing good defense, but also making sure that it's not easy for the opponent to score.
Gonçalves that on the free throw line. It's been 5 of 6 from downtown and misses a crucial free throw.
Yeah, what the interesting thing is that at US Monastir, you know, although they've got Magic, who's up to 4, all of the other players, you know, there's only one other player, Slimane with 3, because he picked up those 2, just out of pure frustration. Gayaza tries to turn and spin and get himself up, and there's another foul, and this time, I think it is Albert Clark-Matthews, unless it's Yannick Moreira. If it's Yannick Moreira, serious.
It was Jason Gonçalves who picked up that one.
Jason Gonçalves, sorry.
It's his 3rd personal foul. Both teams are in the penalty. They were coming off the ball.
And this is going to be a tactical game going into the 4th quarter, Q. Just because we see these players who have fouls. You know, foul trouble obviously means you can play a different kind of game. The physicality and the really hard defending will be a ploy that will be introduced, I imagine, going into the 4th quarter.
And we might see defenders maybe selling the flop a little bit, trying to draw the call from the referee. it's going to definitely be a part of the narrative in the fourth.
High drama, guaranteed. 35 seconds to go. Salvis has the ball in his hands. Solo Diabate defends in a big way. Paul Gayasa just getting in the way. Taps the ball out of play. They get possession on the sideline.
Just trying to draw increased coverage here, Gonçalves there. They're trying to keep the ball out of his hands because he's had the hard hand on the offensive end.
Paolo back into Gonçalves. Well, all that's beautifully done. Gets rid of Diabate. Gets the ball back out. Opportunity here for Matthews. Matthews with a big shot. Comes off the metal. Picked up by Gonçalves. And Matthews has the ball again. 11 seconds. No. Less than that. It is now, anyway. Shot clock down to 3.5. Got to get your shot in. Gonçalves, surely not. Oh, it comes back out. Another opportunity. There's the shot. It's... Oh, it's gone in. It's out. No, it's not. It doesn't go in. It's not a buzzer beater. Close, but not close enough. Tantalizingly close. It doesn't get closer.
It doesn't get closer, and that would have been a really big score. You see the shot from Gonçalves, the tap back. Morera couldn't hold, and Dominguez up, and right place, right time. Just a tad bit late from Matthews.
So there we have it. Elbert Clark Matthews unable to sink those two, so it's just a 2-point game going into the fourth quarter. This is so close. 59 points for Petro de Luanda. US Monastir 57. We're just getting clarification from, of course, Hortensia Sanchez Corrales of Mexico, just to make sure that it was outside of the buzzer, and then we'll just get straight into the break. But let's clarify the situation, which is great.
We continue to see the referees trigger the instant replay system and just getting confirmation that the red light goes on when the clock gets down to 0. And you see them just taking their time and confirming that what they saw, what the eye test is actually there visually on camera.
They're in agreement, and it is that call indeed from Hortensia Sanchez Corrales. It is 59 Petro de Luanda, 57 US Monastir. We're going into a break. We'll be back in a moment for the final quarter here in Kigali of the BAL. We have some extraordinary performers here. Hugh has not done the backflip for a couple of weeks now. I was just asking him if he wanted to come out and just perform, but he said, I'm going to shy away from that, Robbie, because I want to stay in the commentary box.
That's right, because yoga helps with backflips, and, you know, I tried to stay away from as much physical activity as possible.
Kind of. I mean, you know, we're not 100% sure about that because you did play the celebrity game, Keith. You know, and that was just, it was wonderful to see you go out onto the court and show us what you're capable of doing still, which is great. We're going to go over to Usher. Usher, give us some news from the floor. What did you pick up?
Well, I was just speaking to Mary Andrade, who's part of the Petro de Luanda technical team, and she's saying this is a game of runs, and she hopes that Petro de Luanda can be the team that has the last run and eventually are crowned champions.
Oh, it's so tight, isn't it, Dixon? There's a travelling call, and they're giving the ball back to their Angolan opponents as they trail by 2 points. Q.
Turnover number 15 for US Monastir, and I guess uncharacteristically 20 turnovers for Petro de Luanda, but they still do hold the most important stat or most important score line, and that's the lead, 59-57.
You know, when Domingos just went into these into basketball royalty, they literally collected him. They helped him and preventing him from hurting himself. He's back up on his feet, no harm done. Dikembe Mutombo, etc. Look at it. They're all down there. Get the man back up. Hold him back up. He's 100%. That is just brilliant. Great moment. Well, that's what it's all about. It's all about being together, uniting, and, you know, for the right cause and protecting. And at the moment, protecting your basket, isn't it? Protecting protecting the boards, basically.
21st turnover for Petro de Luanda. That time, the defensive pressure forcing the rushed pass from Morera.
Dixon, given a little bit of space. It's a wild pass, but it's still made safe. Dixon with the three-pointer. It's going to go! It's a beautiful triple there for Dixon. And how about that? They move ahead by a point going into the fourth quarter here.
The pressure increases. Dixon's shot-making rate continues to climb. He's just someone who I think enjoys a high-pressure shot.
But he's good from downtown as well. He's going in from the outside. That's another fine basket as well. How about that from Yannick Moreira? And they move 1 point ahead.
Another lead change. We've seen 10 of those prior to this as both these teams continue to want this title.
Now let's just have a look at this again. It's, I think that's Lionel Paulo. He just got in the way, but it's the charge, isn't it? It's actually the call on Leani it goes against him, in fact. And he picks up his second.
It's also a second team foul.
And now into the game for Petro de Luanda, number 5.
And a couple of change happening on the floor as Dindao comes back in. Domingos is going to go to the bench. 3 points, his contribution. And I'm sure we might see him again. It just depends on the state of the game.
So much at stakes, and there's players, we've got 3 players in foul trouble, of course. Madjox early on, he picked up his 4th foul, so obviously not spending too much time. And he's just been named the Dikembe Mutombo 2022 Defensive Player of the Year. So a great accolade, but he's frustrated because he's not actually on the floor.
He is not where he wants to be, but it is a great award, picking up that Defensive Player of the Year award, and it's well deserved for Atem Majok.
Dixon, Petro lead by a point. And Yannick Moreira with just a simple foul that sees him go up to 4. So there's another player on 4 fouls. That's 3 now in this Petro team.
It's going to be really, really interesting to see how US Monastir approach this, because the natural inclination is to attack the player who's in foul trouble. Moreira off Pedro back in, but he's also got 4 fouls. And, you know, player management and rotation management crucial for the coaching staff of Petro de Luanda.
You know what? I can see Slimane, who's like, oh, that was Leani trying to smash it down.
We're looking for his 3rd highlight play. Leani gets baseline on Paulo. Has him on his back, goes up. Paulo did enough to just deter the dunk, but it'll be Leani to the free throw line.
And the first foul for Paulo. 36 years of age. But the player getting good time on the floor. But US Monastir capable of just getting themselves ahead if Leani can increase his tally to 17 points tonight.
One of the 3 veterans and experienced and well-acknowledged players on the Angolan team. 3 Angolan basketball legends, Leonel Paulo, Carlos Moraes, and Olympio Cipriano, and form the core of the veteran leadership. And they love to steer the ship both on the bench and on the floor.
Leani, 15 points, 8 rebounds, 4 from 8 from this line here. Can he make it 5 from 9? Yes, he can. Have a guess where we are, Q. With 8:21 left to go, we are tied. We're tied. We're tied.
That's the 11th tie of this one.
It's just incredible. We knew that it was going to be a tight tussle. You know, Zamalek, they lost the thread against, US Monastir lost the thread against Zamalek in last year's final. You can see that no one wants to lose the thread against each other tonight. This is a big battle between big teams from Africa. We're loving it.
3rd team foul now for US Monastir.
Dundao. There's Moraes. Moraes got his range. Comes back off, and there's the foul. I think it's Paulo on Gayaza. An off-the-ball incident. I might be right there, I might be wrong. But I think it is.
I think it's Johnny Pedro who is whistled and that's going to be his 5th foul. He's going to have to take a walk, and you see him at the bottom of our screen to the left, just walking off the court.
Yeah,
so he fouls out.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. 5th foul, Johnny Pedro. Okay. First player to leave this final. Not just anybody either. Yannick Moreira is, of course, his cover player. We've also got Gaku, but we just saw Majok as well, who's still got some basketball to play tonight. Here he is, Diabate gets the ball out. Marnawi trying to get the ball out. Shot clock going down, but still plenty of time to get a shot in. Gayaza, Diabate, they're around him really big time. There's the Ivorian, it's a air ball, and it goes out of play. And he's calling a bit of contact there, the Ivorian, but I don't think there was. A little bit of a smile, a little bit of a call, but nothing's going, I'm afraid.
Well, maybe got away with one, Moraes, but it was still a great defensive possession for Petro.
Picked up by Dundao. Dundao into the hands of Gonçalves. Gonçalves on 22 points. Up against Gayaza, gets the ball out wide to Paulo. Paulo, it's a travelling call on Paulo, and a giveaway possession, which is not the best scenario for them.
23rd turnover, and this one probably hurts a little bit more because of the state of the game. Stoic look on the face of Johnny Pedro on the bench. He's got to watch this one.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it, when you're actually watching, you know, you're fouled out of the final and there's 7.5 minutes left to play. That's a lot of basketball, so much can happen. And he's not going to play a part of it. That's a long-range shot from Marnawi, and it comes off the metal. Once again, let off the hook, otherwise Monastir would have moved ahead by 3. Here is that man, Moreira. It's a travelling, second successive travelling call going against Petro de Luanda. Surely, how many timeouts have they got left, Petro de Luanda? Because they might want to call one pretty soon.
6th turnover for Yannick Moreira.
Sliman's on it. Sliman, 3 fouls and just 2 points tonight. That's just not his normal self, is it? Playing a different game, but really getting a bit too easily frustrated, maybe. That's a big pass there, and the layup's good from Gayaza in the paint. He is top-notch.
Great execution on the offense, finding Gayaza in the right place, and he was at point-blank range, did the job required of him.
Moraes, Paulo. Gets the ball out to Gonçalves, back to Paulo. Tries to get rid of his man. There he goes through the traffic. That is beautiful. That was poetry in motion. A stunning piece of play there. 2 players down, which is not looking good. Moreira and Sliman clashing during that tangled offensive move.
Well, first of all, what a fantastic play by Paulo. You know, getting by one defender, attacking the rim hard, and that's experience to go glass to get the finish. And I guess what happened in the aftermath is you see Moreira and Sliman get tied up, and both players looking for the foul call and getting tangled up.
Petro de Luanda 63 years, Monastir 63. It's going out wide. It's a big shot. Sliman takes the rebound. Sliman tries to get past his man. Marnawi out wide. Majok's on. Majok around the outside. Diabate this time. Oh, there's a little bit of a tangled up maneuver, and they will still keep possession.
Kick ball, and that's a reset of the shot clock. Then have 14 more seconds to try and construct and find a nice shot within the offense.
Where on earth is this going? I've got no idea. Dixon, Sliman out wide. Marnawi with a long-range shot. It just rattles the metal. Majok just tussles and hustles there with Paulo. Paulo wins the battle there as we see Dundao, the electric pace of that wonderful playmaker, but it's picked up by Solo Diabate. We're right up the other end now. Gayaza, there's Marnawi tries to drop it in, but the points won't count.
Well, speeding down the floor was Diabate, and getting into his path, Lionel Paulo fell to ground kind of slowly. The referees made the call late, but it is a charge call. Diabate couldn't control momentum. Nice dish off, but they call the charge, and so it will be change of possession. Turnover number 17 for US Monastir. 4 team fouls apiece, 63-63, we are tied.
And it's that man Slimane who goes to the free throw line. It was a technical foul, in fact, for Jose Neto. That's the reason why we've got Slimane who's going up to the free throw line.
And the team's best shooter, best free throw shooter, you'd expect Slimane to knock that down and give them just the lead, and he misses.
And that just underlines, you know, how important it is for key players to make their mark in such a big game. Slimane just a little bit short of what he's capable of doing, of course, on a normal basis, as Gonçalves with a beautiful layup. That's a big score for the Angolan giant, producing the goods.
Fantastic footwork, fantastic finish. Gonçalves, 24 now. 5
minutes remaining in this final. It's been given to Magic. He will do that all day, every day if he can. Leani loves that little moment there from the Giants.
It really was a quality pass to find Magic in position. And the drop-off from Dixon. Magic catches, goes straight up, straight in.
Dundao. Moraes. Keeping it away from those fierce defenders. Oh, he tries to go through, and there's a foul at Manawi, I believe, who got in his way. He was keeping him in close check, wasn't he?
He had him in a pretty good position defensively, forced the spin into 3 defenders, and bundled to the ground, draws the foul, and that's 15th foul, and we'll send Carlos Moraes to the free throw line.
We're going to take a break. 65 points apiece. We're all tied. Petro de Luanda, US Monastir. What happens? We'll have to wait and see. We'll be back in a moment. We are joining Carlos Moraes, who goes to the free throw line with 4 minutes and 36 seconds left in the 4th quarter. It's the BAL finals. This is where we will find one team who will be crowned Kings of Africa and one team who will just finish off as second place. Well, the second place team, of course, after such a long competition. 38th game.
38 games, and it comes down to the final 4 minutes, and it's going to be about possession by possession.
And let's go across to Usher and get her thoughts on this scenario. I mean, how's your heart pressure, Usher?
That's an interesting question.
And every single time, it's a big score, Coles Jr. And how about that, 68-66, US Monastir move ahead. Wow.
I hope that answered your question, Robbie.
Yes, it has indeed.
It is a high-pressure game, and you can see that both teams are giving everything to win. But it's going to go down to the wire, and whoever is consistent and has the last run, like Coach Mary Andrade said, will win this game.
Thank you so much, Usher. We'll catch up with you a little bit later on. Valuable information every single time. They're on 5 team fouls, US Monastir. The reason why we're going to go up to the... Are we going to the... I think we're going to the free throw line because the foul was on Dundao.
The foul was on Slimane, who picks up his 4th foul. And he's also in a little bit of foul trouble.
And of course, if these sink, then we're all square once again.
5 of 10 before that miss. Make that 5 of 11 for Yannick Pereira. And gotta at least get one of these 2 one-fields from this free throw line.
Yannick Pereira, a lot of pressure to make sure that this goes down. Just
interesting change.
Yeah.
Gaku's going to go to the bench. They're bringing in the experience of Cipriano. This is going to help them space the floor, but they give up a little bit of size.
Well, yeah, you know, if they want to pass the ball around and swing it around a little bit, and into the last 4 minutes. Coles Jr. puts it up for Magic. He puts it in as well.
Wow, wow, wow. What a fantastic throw down by Magic, skying high. And it's a big, big time play.
Carlos Moraes going up for the three. It's an important three, but it doesn't go up onto the scoreboards, coming off the metal and made tame by Slimane. This is the important part of the game now. It's the important moments of these finals. It's been a long journey for all of these teams. They get possession back. Carlos Jr. doing enough to get that ball touched by Moreira. Oh.
And the pass or the finish, both really fantastic. Just over the outstretched hands of Moreira and Majok. You've seen him do that all season, and he's doing it now when it matters most.
Incredible. Here's Majok again. Majok. Oh, it doesn't fall, so close. And that would have been a 5-point lead for US Monastir with just over 3 to go. Here's Gonçalves hitting threes like they've been going out of fashion. It's a big pass, that is. Oh, my word. Look at that. Swatting it away. Majok comes to the floor. Picked up by Gonçalves, goes into the paint, drops it. Oh, the pass doesn't fall into the hands of Moreira. And there's a foul by Carlos Moraes, knocking over that man, Marnaoui.
Smart foul. It might be called an unsportsmanlike, and there's certainly a case for the ball on a downward path of trajectory, but you see the value of Atul Majok inside the paint. He can block shots out of them as well, and the referees are just going to confer to figure out if they're going to call a clear path and make it an unsportsmanlike or a technical foul on that foul by Moraes. If it is, it's going to be 2 shots plus possession and a chance for US Monastir to create some separation.
Yeah, we're just getting the lay of the land. Of course, the officials just gathering, communicating. The Tunisian fans who have made the journey down here to Kigali making a lot of noise.
What may save Moraes is that there was a player ahead of him. He wasn't the last player on the line, and in the context of the game was a really smart play, and so it should be. And yeah, they do call unsportsmanlike, so it is 2 shots plus possession.
And there it is. That's the call on Carlos Moraes. And it's Marnaoui who goes straight up to the free throw line. Such an important play at such an important time of the game. The first drops in.
Six big points by Marnaoui.
And so does the second.
Make that 7. He has been an X-factor player off the bench for US Monastir.
Get this. If they score from this play now, that will be a big statement, and it'll give them a lot of confidence as going into these final 3 minutes. Ball goes out wide. It's a big long-range shot. Rattles the rim, doesn't drop. And picked up and taken forward by Cipriano, down into the corner. Cipriano, it goes off the mat, off the backboard, and straight into the hands of that man at Carlos Jr. They get possession back. Fine battling there by Petro de Luanda.
That is the value of Dundao. You just can't put the ball down on the floor around him and able to force a very crucial turnover with 2:22 left. He can go either way.
That was so tight, so tight. You know, I'm looking around, you know, I'm popping my head up like a meerkat just to try to read the situation, read, you know, the reactions from the coaches and the players and how they're trying to work out what they're going to do for the final 2 minutes 22. It is tantalizingly close here.
Majok 4 fouls. Slimane 4 fouls. Gaku 4 and Moreira 4 as well.
Gonçalves. The ball into the hands of Moreira. Oh, he's just lost the ball. Marnaoui gets a hold of it. Marnaoui! And Majok comes across and he flies down. And again, you can see what's going on here. The aggressive offensive play there by US Monastir. And it's the 5th team foul, first of all, and the 4th for Carlos Moraes.
Again, it's the play of that man, Marnaoui, getting down the floor, and forces the block to come across. And Carlos Moraes had to challenge, had to make sure that he doesn't get the easy score, but he's forced to pick up his 4th foul.
And Petro, of course, calling a timeout, logically, Q, because they need to have a game plan for these last couple of minutes. You know, it's still a game that anybody can win, but it depends how you manage these crucial moments.
Well, and what they do need now is a score, and they're going to have to try and see what happens with Marnawi at the free throw line. He was pretty consistent the last time down. Looks like he's unaffected by the pressure of the moment. If he makes both, they have even more separation. Do they go for a 2? Do they go for a 3? But they've got to find something within the flow of their offense. And with the personnel that they have and the foul trouble, there's just so much happening.
And of course, you've got to look at Petro de Luanda now, because they are 5 points behind. They know that both the US Monastir have got 5 team fouls, so we will go to the free throw line. They can stop this game, you know, with those moments and try and draw the fouls so that they can go to the free throw line as well. But it's all about possession. Dixon is the man, 70% field goal percentage, and just look at that for a tally. He's been outstanding. He's put in a fantastic performance here tonight with 21 points, and just his vision and his confidence on the floor tonight has been, well, just top draw.
He also knows when to pick his moments, and can come up with the big shots when needed and necessary. And he has been a good pickup, a great pickup for US Monastir, and he's been a factor in them advancing and getting here in this position in the championship game and throughout the season.
Went to University of Missouri, and an American, of course, but he's also played in Georgia. They offered him Georgian citizenship.
2015 Lithuanian League All-Star.
In Lithuania, you've got some big shooters from the outside coming from Lithuania. Marnawi, 8 points. 3 from 3. 4 from 4. Now, Dundao in possession. 2 minutes here. It's the finals of the BAL Season 2. The 38th game. We've been to Dakar, we've been to Cairo, and that's going to be a foul. Marnawi picking up his 3rd foul, I think.
Moraes really wanted that one to fall. He was looking for the 3-point play, and it just rattled in and out. But what he did do is get a chance to go to the free throw line. And again, it's the ability to stop the game clock and try and make inroads into the lead. They can get it back within 5. They've got to apply some pressure on the defensive end. Two or 4, 50% for Carlos Moraes from the free throw line so far.
Majok on the bench. Leani and Slim out of the 2 players. This is the first. Second is good. Possession in the hands of US Monastir. Full court press, logically. They need to get themselves, but they can't leave players with loads of space. Marnawi gets the ball out wide, brings it back, using the clock intelligently.
See a little bit of confidence in the body language of the US Monastir players.
Well, especially when they produce drives like that. Marnawi unable to sink it, but it was really well done. Comes out wide, and there he is going around the outside. That's a beautiful score, draws the foul as well. And Petro de Luanda with that man who's been unstoppable all night, Gonçalves.
The standout player for Petro de Luanda, 26 for Lucani Gonçalves, and just creating contact and separation. And that left hand difficult to block as he goes baseline for 2.
He just climbs up a little bit into the sky, the step ladder effect, but still manages to just pop it in.
Pressure free throw can bring it back within a single possession.
Gonçalves. Oh, he just doesn't manage to drop it in. It's a 4-point game. So it's Petro de Luanda still trailing. 1 minute 20. Every play is key now. Free throw 72, 54 for Petro. So down on the Tunisian Giants as Coles Jr. goes through and he gets fouled.
Yeah, that's going to be the end of the evening for Moreira. He will pick up his 5th, and though he's had a pretty great game offensively with his 18 points, his presence on the floor probably needed down the stretch here with this final 1 minute and 6 seconds.
Yeah, and we'll obviously have Gaku, who's going to come back on to replace him, but he's on 4 fouls as well. So we just know that this is tantalizingly close, and every play is vital.
All right, it's Sweaty Pop's time from the free throw line. Can you hold your nerve?
Nice image, that is good. Thanks. Coles Jr. gets his first 5 points now. Check for the rebound. Oh, the second's good as well. Coles Jr. as cool as you like. Picked up by Gonçalves. Just over a minute remaining here in this final. Gonçalves gets, oh, he doesn't manage to sink the 2, but he does draw the foul. And Coles Jr. is the player who's frustrated because he knows that, well, he's been caught out for that. And that'll give him the chance to get 2 points. Quick transition play, and of course, not many seconds taken away.
Ideal, would have wanted the finish from close range like that through the contact, but now again, pressure free throws, and 54% uncharacteristic of Petro from the free throw line. We'll see what happens.
The first one knocked down by Gonçalves. I suppose if you want someone who's getting up onto that line, it's going to be that man there, Gonçalves. Outstanding player. His tally is just improving with every play. 27 points, 2 from 4. Free throw line, 3 from 5. It's a 4-point game. Again, Marnaoui, Slimane in the middle. Out wide, picked up by Coles Jr., slowing it down. Need to put a bit of pressure on him. Time is of the essence. And the Tunisian fans loving this at the moment. Coles Jr., shot clock down to 3. Where's he going to go? It doesn't go. It's been picked up. Slimane! How about that? He saw that coming, and he raced in to make sure that that was going to go straight inside of the basket.
Hasn't had the best offensive game, but comes up with the big play. Captain Slimane just on the follow from the miss, chased it down, put the ball on the floor, got up. Big 2 points for Radwan Slimane. Big 2 points for US Monastir.
And I think that it's going to be a tie. Look at Atta Majok. He is just jumping with joy. He can't wait. So fired up for this final, of course. So eager to get that title of being the King of Africa and his Kings of Africa. And that's exactly where they are at the moment. They've got a 6-point lead, 28.5 seconds. Honestly, the next play is going to be the key of the game.
They've got to go quickly. They've got to get a score, whether they get it on a contest and a foul and then one, or from the perimeter. They've got to get something out of this possession. And it's the only way that you can see them staying in. And then free throw line is probably going to be a factor. They're going to come and foul quickly, can't allow the play to develop at all.
This situation is, you know, where's the ball going? Who's going to take this ball? You know, if I was, it's Petro de Luanda who had possession, right?
It is Petro de Luanda possession.
That's right. So they get their hands on the ball. Who's going to get that ball? Okay, who do you give it to?
Well, you have a variety of options in terms of...
It's got to be Gonçalves, right? It's got to be Gonçalves.
Right. You can use Dondao to get inside the paint to try and create, but the shot has got to come from either Moraes or Gonçalves.
But the trouble is, if you go for 3 points, you know, what does that mean? That means that basically, you know, you might not get the ball back afterwards. But if you drive through and you get the foul, that's a different scenario altogether.
Well, ideally, they want a 3 on this possession.
Ideally, yeah. I'd put him up to 75 because, yeah, we're 6 points. That makes sense. Leani, stolen the ball, draws the foul. And that is basically, that's it, isn't it?
That is great defensive work by Firas Liani. First of all, to steal the ball away, and secondly, to draw the contact from Gaku, who's going to pick up his foul. So he's out of the game and read the play well, went up. The hard foul came from Gaku. It's called unsportsmanlike. So now it's 2 shots plus possession, and it's increased the likelihood that US Monastir can inch closer and closer to the desired goal.
Gaku fouled out. Pedro fouled out. Moreira fouled out. They're bringing on Paulo with Liani up to the line and dropping in what is one of potentially 2 points that will usher them in the right direction, a little step closer. I would say a big step closer, right?
Well, up to 3 possessions, and with this limited time.
Well, it's that time of the year, isn't it, for them? Let Dixon, he's literally
overcome with emotion.
Well, of course he is. You know, I think that, you know, they're already kind of celebrating, but not yet. We've got 24 seconds left. Liani need to get possession. Petro de Luanda. Liani breaks loose, and he obviously produces the goods. This is extraordinary, but I think the whistle, well, are the points going to count? It looks like they are. They are. Of course they are.
The points count. Liani putting the icing on a fantastic offensive showing that will take him to 20 points, and a lot of them just coming when he gets the chance to get into the seams, finishes with the right hand, and a little bit of showmanship, and you can start to feel that there is no way back for Petro now.
Yeah, Liani just absolutely fired up. He's been producing some extraordinary plays tonight. You know, the dunks, the one-handed dunk, he's been producing the lot. It's been extraordinary. Here we go into the last 15 seconds. Gonsalves for a 3-pointer. Oh, it just doesn't fall, and it's made safe by Liani. And there you go. They know that it's over and it's done and dusted. Last few seconds, and it is all about the Tunisian Titans of US Monastir, who are the kings of Africa. They win season 2 of the Basketball Africa League, and look at that. They dug deep in the last few minutes and got themselves ahead, pushed themselves ahead, believed that they could do it, shifted mountains, moved the Angolan giants, and got themselves the victory here. And coming back from losing against Zamalek last season, it's their first ever victory, and they totally deserve it because they fought valiantly to get themselves where they are today. 72-83, the final score. And an incredible performance from the Tunisians.
What a great storyline. And Firas Liani, Rob, you spoke about it earlier, you know, talking about last year in the final when he only played 4 minutes and believed that he would be the difference when he's on the floor. Well, he's backed himself. 21 points to tie alongside Dixon, who also had 21. And you see what it means to the veteran Slimane, and see what it means to coach Jose Neto. And, you know, credit to US Monastir coming all the way here and picking up a win after being losing finalists last year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, you know, just seeing that, of course, Slimane with Jose Neto, they've always got something to say, haven't they? And, you know, Slimane, at 41 years of age, becomes a winner of the BAL with US Monastir. But there's also something, that's the final score, Petro de Luanda 72, US Monastir 83. But let's have a look at one player who is a 2-time winner of the BAL. His name is Solo Diabate, and we'll see him celebrating in a minute. From the Côte d'Ivoire, the only player ever to have won that accolade, or to have achieved that accolade. That is extraordinary in itself. Won with Zamalek last year, winning this year with US Monastir. And extraordinary scenes here, because this is a celebration of African basketball, of African sport. But the level of that game, Q, it was just above all incredible.
It was ebbing and flowing, and back and forth we went. We saw lead changes, we saw ties, we saw different players coming to the fore. Gonsalves, 28 points, could not help his team advance. Foul trouble came into it. 3 Petro de Luanda players fouling out, and eventually US Monastir, they are 2022 Basketball Africa League champions, and they'll be taking the trophy home.
There's a wonderful image there. Sorry, not the Johnny Pedro, of course, but just previous to that, we saw Slimane and Mike Dixon there just hugging. They're literally in tears. I mean, it's an emotional roller coaster ride. Imagine how far they've come to get where they are today. This is what it's all about. And there you go. That's just brilliant, isn't it? And I tip my hat to that man there, because, to be honest with you, at 41, extraordinary. He's just he showed up once again, hasn't he?
He definitely showed up, and you know, it's sport, the nature of sport. Last year there were tears for US Monastir. This year it's tears of joy, and you know, it's sticking with the journey and just coming all the way here, getting yourself back into the final, and this time by being able to just take the extra step and actually become African champions in the Basketball Africa League.
Miodrag Perisic, the Serbian, second stint, of course, at the helm of US Monastir, and the 49-year-old, well, he gets himself this fine accolade of being the coach who led a team to BAL League success. That is incredible. African champions, that is just no mean feat. It's a brilliant achievement, and he's worked hard. He knows the players, and to add on to the 6 national titles that they've got, US Monastir and 3 Tunisian Cups, they've now got 1 BAL Champions Trophy to go with it, and that in itself will be proudly put at the front of the trophy cabinet.
So when history looks back now, it will be etched in there forever, and this performance by both Dixon and Firas Leani written into the annals of African basketball history and written into the annals of the Basketball Africa League.
They'll be celebrating, they'll receive their trophy in a minute, but you can see the champions, there they are. They're all there, big smiles. Now that the work's done, you can, you know, there's a sigh of relief, but also, you know, the adrenaline of success. You know, you've won trophies, Q. You know what it's like to go up onto a podium and say, you know, this is what we've achieved. You know, what are going through these players' minds at this moment?
It's just trying to take the moment in and understand that the journey and all the preparation and all the hard work and all the fights and everything that you prepared for has actually come together, and you have been crowned champions in one of the best competitions, or the premier competition. All the preparation, everything, all the years of play come together for the moment, and you can just feel the relief, and they are going to celebrate long into the evening, and they're going to take it all in where they can.
For hosting us, now, congratulations to both teams for giving us an outstanding finals. But before we get into the trophies, it is my pleasure to welcome the Basketball League Africa President, Amadou Galofal.
Thank you, Asha. Muraho Kigali. We will announce first the most valuable player for Season 2 of the Basketball Africa League. From US Monastir, Michael Dixon. Please, Michael.
Congratulations, Michael Dixon. You put up big numbers throughout the season, and your performance tonight led to the victory. What does this award mean to you?
I really don't care about myself. You know, my teammates are unbelievable. They put confidence in me since I've been here. And this is really just a team win. This is for the country of Tunisia. This is for US Monastir and all our fans. Thank you so much.
As a key member of this team, what does this award mean to the team and the victory tonight?
It's huge. You know, we've been working really hard since we left Senegal. We played every 2 days, and now we're here. We've been through a lot, but I'm just so happy for my team and our club and the country of Tunisia. It's been an unbelievable ride.
Well, thank you so much. Now, one more time for the 2022 Hakeem Olajuwon MVP, Michael Dixon.
Fantastic achievement for Michael Dixon. He really was a standout performance.
Welcome the captain of US Monastir, Radwan Sliman. Now, Sliman, you've won 2 African titles on this same court. First the Afrobasket last year, and now the BAL. How do you feel now?
It's unbelievable. The second time in maybe 6 months now. I take 2 big titles, 1 Afrobasket and 1 BAL. It's unbelievable. It's gonna be here in my memories all my life. I want to thank everybody, FIBA, the NBA, the BAL, Amadou, for this unbelievable organization, and I hope next year also this next edition gonna back more stronger. And I want to thank all my teammates, my coach, our president for all what they give us, and I'm very proud of them. And vive le basketball tunisien.
At 41 years old, you're still playing strong. What is the significance of this victory back to the people of Monastir and Tunisia as a country?
Always I said that age is just a number. Nothing is difficult. You must believe, you must come every day in the court, you must suffer, you must give everything, you must be a role model in your team to help your teammate and to help the new generation. And this is what I'm trying to do. And I hope the next generation gonna be better, and they're gonna do better than what we are doing.
Thank you very much, Sliman. Mabruk, congratulations once more. And now the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's bring back the BL president to present the 2022 Basketball Africa League Championship Trophy.
And there you have it, US Monastir, the BAL 2022 champions, conquering Africa after what has been a formidable campaign in this wonderful competition, season 2. And now they take over the title as the champions queue, and they thoroughly deserve it. We knew that they were going to be heavyweights coming in this season, and they showed that what they're capable of doing.
They did, and they also faced adversity. They thought that they would come undefeated through the Sahara Conference, picked up that loss against Reg, and then had to battle hard as every single team here. Cape Town Tigers, of course, in that quarterfinal, and a very, very tough semi-final against the defending champions, Zamalek, and then they had to face the Angolan champions to try and pick up this trophy. So it was hard fought. They battled, they fought through all of that adversity, and look where they are now, crowned champions of Africa.
And there you can see the joy. You know, the work has been done, and this is what they've managed to achieve, having worked so hard to get themselves in this position. And they finished second in the Sahara Conference, of course, behind Reg, but they still managed to show us what they're capable of doing. You know, coming back, and I think that key match in the semi-finals lifted them just a little bit higher in their ambitions to go all the way.
It's got to give you a psychological edge just to know that you were able to beat the team that beat you in the finals last year. They also did it on the back of their defensive play. And even in the game today, they lost Majok for periods of the game in foul trouble. Dixon had to make some big shots. They got an X-factor play for Marnawi, who came in and gave them 20 great minutes and 9 great points. And then you have to talk about Firas Leani and his contribution throughout the entire season. And he did a fantastic work. Well, he did some fantastic work in this game.
Well, there he is. That's the man. It's the MVP, of course, Michael Dixon. What he put into this performance and how he enabled US Monastir to get where they are today was just fantastic. A coach who's got so much respect, of course. a wonderful, wonderful man who's taken them in the right direction. They'll be celebrating in a big way in Tunis and in Monastir and across the country, Sfax, but most importantly in Monastir, of course, where they absolutely love their basketball. We hope you've enjoyed this season. It's been extremely interesting indeed. Some wonderful basketball right across Africa and across the world. Petro de Luanda falling short against US Monastir, who are the winners, and we can take a look at the stats before we go.
Well, yeah, as we sum up what has happened in this championship game, 83 points to 77, both teams at 44%. And you thought that the three-point line was going to be a factor. 10 of 28 it was, but even though they had a poor showing from the outside, it was hard-fought tooth and nails, and they managed to score on the interior, Firas Leani being the guy who was able to get inside and really just hurt Petro de Luanda inside the paint, and they were able to share the ball at 20 assists.
Well, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's made this possible for the second season. Of course, Q, Usher, and myself, we will give a big thanks to everybody involved. It's been an extraordinary journey. We've got there in the end. US Monastir are the champions, and we'll see you next season for season 3. Who knows what's on the horizon? But all we can say is that Slimane and this Tunisian team of US Monastir can celebrate until next year when season 3 begins. Game on.